What's up, fam? Dr. O here, and I wanted to make a special message to all of the students out there, particularly those who are college students, but also those who are in high school as well. As you go into this summer, I really want you to think about how more engaged you need to be in as relates to things that are going on in our community from a political perspective. I asked my students this semester to, from the beginning of the semester to the end of the semester, just think about all of the rights that they have lost, or people they who are part of communities they're not a part of have lost, or have been whittled down in some way, shape, or form. And it's amazing what can happen in just a span of 14 to 15 weeks. We talked about the fact that in March there were over 400 bills that were created to target the LGBTQ plus community, as opposed to just 200, which is a lot within itself in terms of all of last year. And that number keeps growing. We talked about issues relating to access of abortions and women's rights to privacy. We talked about voting rights that are being curtailed. And right now, given what has been happening in places like Wisconsin, where students represented a large number that helped the judge get to that Supreme Court there, they are actively targeting voting by young people in many states now, places like Georgia and so on and so forth, to such an extent that I know that many of you all are college students, and those of y'all who are graduating from high school are considering going to colleges based on the politics of that state. My own daughter is considering Spelman, but now I'm concerned of whether she'll be able to vote there in 2024 because they are working to ban student IDs from being used in private universities to vote, in addition to getting rid of polling places because they're afraid of you. All you young people out there, they are afraid of you. But to have power and not use the power, you might as well not be having the power at all. So this is that summer where you got to make sure that if you don't know who your city council person is, your state senator, and all of the representatives at every single level, the delegates and the like, go out and find out who they are. Use your social media, use your emails, use your platforms, whatever it is. It is only going to get worse if you don't get active. And we can tweet about, oh, we stand with women, or we believe in Black Lives Matter. But if you're not and so on, but if you're not actively challenging the people who are the decision makers in your states, then you basically are supporting them. I believe that silence is compliance. I believe that there is no middle ground. You are either an upstander or you are a bystander. I see what's happening and everybody embracing people like the Justins, Pearson, the two Justins in Tennessee, and Gloria Johnson, and they're supporting the politician in Montana who's trans, who got silenced and the like, and people out there protesting and marching and all of that. And I support that. But if you really support them, you would get out and vote. You would get politically engaged. People are depending on you to be out there with your youthful energy, walking and marching and all of that, but they're not expecting you to show up at the ballot boxes. And in so many areas, you have been proving them wrong, but you can't let up now. You can't stop now. You have to keep going. So I'm challenging every single one of you all. I talk about this thing called LEAD, LEAD, and that stands for listen, educate, advocate, and decide. When we talk about that L, who are you listening to in terms of building your political knowledge on issues? Are you just getting caught up in the same television shows or sports shows or whatever it is, or music, whatever it is that you're interested in? We all do those things, but also make sure that you're devoting dedicated time to listening to the issues that are going on in your community. Then are you educating yourself? Are you if you get out there with your energy and passion, but have no real knowledge, you are just as much a part of the problem as somebody who's actively working against our causes. So you have to really educate yourself on the issues. Follow the legislators. Read the bills. Do whatever it takes to be able to speak knowledgeably on the areas that you're talking about. Then you got to get out there and advocate. This summer, what are you going to do? Is it going to be phone calls? Is it going to be social media campaigns? Is it going to be emails? Is it going to be showing up in person to the meetings, education boards? We didn't even talk about that. Whatever it is, 1, 2, 3, whatever you have the time to do, get out there and do it. And then you just have to decide. You have to decide that this is who you're going to be forever. When I look at people like Max Frost, Representative Max Frost, and others as well, we have to remember that you also can be like them. And it's not just about holding office. It's about getting out there and using your talents to make a change in this society. And people are getting over by your apathy. They know that you're going to make some type of viral this and that, but they're not expecting you to get out there and engage in a political process. And to be quite honest, when we look at the Supreme Court, when we look at other these laws passed, these are things that are going to affect you longer than it's going to affect many of us who've been around longer than you. So now is the time. And I'm seeing young people out there doing things like, getting sterilized and other things because they're afraid of what's going to happen with the judges and all of these other types of things. I say, don't be afraid, engage. Don't pull back, push back. Every single day you have an opportunity to be an upstander, not a bystander. And if we know what's happening now, if we understand the game now, and or not even the game, the battle now, and don't get involved, we have no one else to blame but ourselves. And so I'm saying this with much love. And I'm talking now because the school years are about to end. But we all know that those of us who are out of school, long removed from school, we need to also be checking ourselves to make sure that we're doing the most, to make sure that we're supporting a society where everybody can be celebrated and not tolerated. So the LEAD, are y'all going to be a leader, not a follower? You got to follow that lead model, listen, educate, advocate, and decide. And we can truly make change. But you have to ask yourself, how committed are you really to making that change? There's no better time like the present to get out there and show the world what you're all about. Remember, be an upstander, not a bystander. Why settle for outstanding when you can be upstanding? Peace.